Hello friends, we will talk about wired and wireless physical layers in this particular module. There are wired physical layer, we have seen that there are wires like unshielded twisted pair and fiber optic cables, and wireless also uses a typical set of frequency and all that. We are throwing little more light on that. Will in this particular module, we will look at UTP cable as well as FO cable and their characteristics and so on. We will also be looking at two major problems that plague wireless communication and the solutions to those problems. And we will actually at the end we will look at number of components that you have in a wireless physical layer. Okay, let us begin with the unshielded twisted pair cable. Okay. So, UTP copper cable is de facto standard for our Ethernet. So, if you buy an Ethernet network today, most probably you will get a cable which is of this type, okay, which is very useful. Actually is so good that people are using it for years now, okay. And that is called twisted. Twisted means it is twisted in a helical fashion, okay, like this. So, that twist actually is done to improve the noise immunity actually. So, more the twist, more immune it is to the noise, okay. So, and crosstalk. So, one wire, if transmission going in one wire is not going to affect the other wire much, okay. So, that is why it is used. This is pretty inexpensive, few rupees a meter in India. Almost everywhere in the world is also pretty cheap. Our telephone wires use this, almost all LAN cables are of this type. Okay. You probably have seen that thing many times. Okay. It's as I said, it's used for the last 30-40 years now, even more in the telephone lines. And so, you will get lot of people who can install this wire, can grip this wire and attach that thing to your LAN and all that. You will get a lot of people who can do it, okay. So, that is pretty cheap also, easy to manage. It is much lesser attenuation compared to the other earlier copper cables. One copper cable that was prevalent in use was coaxial cable, the very cable that we use our television antennas, television antenna to our TV cable, TV set, that kind of an antenna, that is known as coaxial cable. Compared to coaxial cable, UTP cable is much better in terms of the attenuation, it has much lesser attenuation. So, it loses lesser power, so it will travel longer distance without amplification. Okay. And the technology is evolving. UTP, when people started using that thing for telephones, it was category 3 wire and it was able to provide 25 megahertz per second. Cat 5 which came next had 125 megahertz, Cat 6 provided 250 and there was an extension called 6A which could provide 500 megahertz, 7 provided 600 and 7A provided 1000. Cat 8 which is common today, it can provide 1600 megahertz to 2000 megahertz. The wider range, it was Cat 3 was only 25 MB and the megahertz, this is about 2000 megahertz, and the range in which it is working 1 megahertz result into 1 MB of bandwidth. That means, this had only 25 MB capacity of sending data, it will have around 2000 MB or 2 GB of capability of sending data. So, that is the difference. Okay. Larger is translate into bigger bandwidth. But then UTP are being replaced by fiber optic cable recently, and there are reasons, we will be discussing about them right now. UTP cables are pervasive in current networking technology, but are being replaced, okay. Especially in long haul networks, the distance is large. UTP is excellent for shorter distances, for example, 100 meters or so. In LAN, usually you have for 100 meter you get an excellent communication speed, but if you want to connect two networks far apart, if you want to connect to ISP and so on and so forth, UTP cable cannot give you good performance, fiber optic cable is better. So, fiber optic cable, long haul networks and backbones, which backbone is something which connect multiple networks. So, network to network communication is done using backbone. So, where you need a fiber optic cable, and UTP cable is not going to work there. If you use UTP cable, you will not get the speed that you want. Okay. And you know that it is also replacing TV cables that we already have. Okay. The coaxial cable are being replaced by fiber optic cable. The biggest advantage is you do not need those repeaters after a few meters, a very long cable from for a few kilometers, actually you do not need any repeater. Okay. It is also a first choice, fiber optic is also first choice for two cases which are very popular today. You can connect your own machine to ISP using a fiber optic cable, okay, which runs on something called Ethernet as first mile. There is one more use of this thing, carrier grade Ethernet. Carrier grade Ethernet connects two networks, and these two networks can be continent apart. So, that kind of solution demanded fiber optic cable, UTP cannot work there. Okay. UTP is good enough for a small distance like 100 meters, beyond that UTP is not very good. Fiber optic cable can run for kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, in some cases even 50 to 100 kilometers, you can run a cable without any sort of amplification. Okay. Fiber optic cable runs on top of a principle called total internal reflection. Okay. When you talk about total internal reflection, is basically a case where two different transparent media are connected. Here is one transparent media, the other is other transparent media. Now, these two are connected. This is pure glass. This is not all that pure glass. Now, the density of this is higher. That means refractive index of this is higher than this. Okay. And we are talking about this case. Okay. So, pure glass with higher refractive index and ordinary glass with lower refractive index. The refraction that happens at the boundary, okay, is very important in our case. The amount of refraction depends on two things: the angle at which it is incident, the ray is incident, and the difference between the refractive index, difference between the density of these two media. Okay. What is the meaning? See, this is how it was. This is pure glass. So, ray travels like this. When at the boundary it enters the ordinary glass, it bends. This is bending. This bending is known as refraction, and this bending, as I said, depends on density of these two media as well as the angle on which the ray is incident on the boundary. So, for a small case it bends a bit, but for little larger angle it bends so much that it start traveling along the surface. Now, this angle is known as a critical angle, and if you send a ray with little bigger angle, larger angle, then the critical angle, what you have is the ray will bounce back in the media and will not escape from the pure glass, and total internal reflection is happening. Actually, the word reflection is misleading. This is refraction and not reflection, but that is what people speak. So, we call it total internal reflection, but it is basically a reflection. When this happens, what actually will happen is that here is my wire, it starts bouncing off, okay, and eventually will reach at the receiver, and this is how fiber optic cable, one typical type of fiber optic cable, sends signals across. Okay. In case of copper cable, the problem is that when the current passes through, there are stray electrons which resist the propagation of that wave, okay, and that is why the wire gets hot. You know, the reason is that the stray electrons resist, and this resistance convert that energy into heat, okay, and that waste energy actually. Okay. In the case of fiber optic cables, we are not sending electrons, we are sending photons, and the power of using photon is that photons are not resisted by the photons inside or photons outside. Electrons which are traveling in the media actually are affected by surrounding electrons as well. They generate something called magnetic flux, which affects their movement and energy is wasted. So, both things are absent in case of fiber optic cable. And the second thing, that it bounces off without losing any energy. So, these two things make it so good that will travel much longer distance than UDP cable. Okay. FO cable, as I said, is made up of pure glass, offers no resistance. Pure means it is something so pure that you can see through it for 40 kilometers, that is called pure glass. Okay. And as I have said, existence of light pulse is 1, non-existent light pulse indicates 0. Okay. There are two devices, one is called LED, light emitting diode, which converts an electric current into a light pulse. It sends at the other end. At the other end, there is something called a photodiode. A photodiode converts that electric light pulse into an electric current. So, these two devices are used for sending and receiving. We have already seen that before. So, these two devices are used for sending light pulses or photons across the wire. An FO cable can provide 25 to 50 GB for considerable 4, 5, 10 kilometers distance. Okay. The fiber optic cables use 3 different ranges of waves, and it is all so high frequency, 10 to 14 hertz and so on. It is a huge amount of frequency, and remember, higher frequency waves are named from the wavelength they have, okay, in vacuum. So, we have 3 ranges, one is called 0.85 micron, the other is 1.30 micron, the third one is 1.55 micron. This is the length of the wave, okay, and that is this basically is the middle value in the range. Okay. So, we have first range, okay, and second range and the third range, 3 ranges. Okay. The middle one here is 0.85, is 0.13, sorry 1.3, this is 1.55 something, that is a middle value. The range is almost all 3 of them are, it is huge, 25,000 GB, 25 to 30,000, that is the width of all 3 of them. Okay. So, these values are middle values and indicate the wavelength of the wave in the vacuum. Okay. The first range, okay, the first range attenuation is little more, 0.8 decibel per kilometer. Here is 0.2, which is much lesser actually. So, it travels very long distance. The attenuation of this range is a little higher, but you can use LED and photodiode both from same material called gallium arsenide, which actually is much cheaper compared to this. So, if you use this range, the devices that you buy will be much cheaper, that is the power, that is the usefulness of using this range. Okay. Okay. This both can be made from gallium arsenide, a cheaper material. Okay. The problem, there are a few problems. One is called dispersion. If you point a flashlight upwards in night, you probably have seen the light travels like this, and that is called dispersion, okay, and that creates a problem. Okay. Light spreads in all directions, that is called dispersion. When multiple light rays are being sent, we have a problem. The problem is this. Suppose if this is my wire, okay, I am sending one ray as this, the other ray, okay, there is some other sender, some other transmitter is traveling like this. Now, instead of traveling like this, a ray actually disperses like this. From here disperse little more, and here you can see that it merges with the other transmission and disturbs the transmission. So, because of that dispersion, you can't send it for a longer distance, one, and you can't keep two rays together, you will have to keep them very apart like this. So, they are so apart that even if there is a dispersion, they will not merge into a one one ray itself. So, that is the issue. Okay. A wave outstretches itself and collides with a neighbor, that is the problem. People have tried solving this problem and there are some solutions available as well, but this is still a problem. The very example that I have shown is of multi-mode fiber, where more than one ray travel together, that is called multi-mode. But then there are two types of multi-mode, we will talk about each one of them. Carries multiple rays at the same point of time, one and the second and the third and so on. And these rays travel independently at different angles, obviously you will have to have. They do not merge with each other while traveling, they cannot. If you merge, the receiver will not get the right data that is being sent. It is very similar to multiple vehicles traveling on the highway, as long as they do not interfere in each other's business, we do not mind actually. Okay. But then they travel in a zigzag way, okay. They do not travel straight, they travel in a zigzag fashion. Okay. And multiple waves have different modes, that is why this name called multi-mode fiber optic cable. Okay. Then we have a single mode fiber as well. This single mode, multi-mode I said there are two types, I will discuss about them later. Single mode has only single wire, okay, single wave. The wire is is basically a strand of glass which is so thin. In fact, even the multi-mode fiber optic cable is so thin that is 1/6 of a human hair, but then this is even much shorter, is only few wavelengths thick, a few micron, you can 5 to 10 micron thick, this thing wire, okay, wire of glass, strand of glass. But when you use that, the wave travel straight, won't bounce off, there is no space to bounce off, it will just travel in a straight line, and the media, the strand acts like a waveguide for it. Okay. It travel along the FO cable, only allows one direction, you do not have multiple waves coming, you do not have multiple rays, only one ray travel, but the power is that it can travel to a much longer distance, 5000 kilometers is somebody tried and done, okay. But very less bandwidth, for 100 kilometers it can have even 50 Gbps, huge. But then we will have to use devices called laser and not diode, laser is a little better device. Okay. A fiber optic cable contains two parts, the core which is pure glass, the cladding of the ordinary glass. Okay. And there are two types, one is called single step multi-mode fiber, the other one is called graded multi-mode fiber. Here, okay. Core is this is the intersection of the cable, core and the cladding. If the core is consistent, okay, the thickness of the core is the same across it, it will happen, the wave will travel like this, one wave travel like this, the other wave travel like this, the third may be traveling straight in the straight line. But in the other type, the thickness of the core is consistently decreasing. So, what will happen? The wave band in helical fashion like this will not travel in a straight line like this. Okay. So, this one is called single step indexed multi-mode fiber, this is called graded index multi-mode fiber. This is little better design, because it slows down the middle part, here the middle this thing ray travels much faster and reach earlier. Here the highest density here is here, so it will travel much with much less speed, and because in fact this makes sure that every ray reaches at the other end at the same point of time. So, that is better. The single mode is so thin that wave just travel in a straight line will not escape. Okay. So, and this is single mode fiber. Okay. So, you can see that multimode fibers are used in local area network. Now, they are taking the space of this thing UTP cable now they are used in place of UTP cables. They are also used in backbone networks when there are two networks to be connected, single mode fibers are great choice. Okay. Sender for LAN LED is little better, because like if there is a fiber optic strand and I just cut and try to see what is happening inside, if the laser will have a hole in my retina. Now, that should not happen. So, that is why the LAN usually use LED, which is good enough, and receiver uses the photodiode. And fiber optic cable actually is capability of carrying terabits per second, but limitation comes from the photodiode to convert those light pulses into electric pulses. Okay. Here is little difference between LED and laser, and let us talk about that. Laser is more fragile actually, but then will drive the ray to much longer distance. Okay. It requires more expensive circuitry also, is more expensive compared to LED, but the power of laser is that it will drive laser to the wave to a much longer distance. So, if you want to connect lens, okay, and or if you want to have a fiber optic cable on the seabed and where you want a very long transmission to take place, a good solution is laser. Okay. Okay. And its rate of conversion is much more. So, if you want to have better bandwidth, laser is good. Okay. LED is preferred in LAN for few reasons. I have already told you one critical reason, that is hazardous to human health. So, LED is better, and for shorter distances LED is good enough. It will provide the services that we want. We do not need the services of laser there. And the other thing is, lasers are sensitive to temperature. So, you will have to make sure that the devices which use send and receive should be kept under the temperature control, and if it is not maintained, laser will not work, will start malfunctioning and you will not be able to transmit. So, that is the other problem. Okay, let us try to understand some differences, critical differences between fiber optic cable and the UTP cable before moving on to wireless physical layer. UTP is much thicker than the fiber optic cable. As I said, the fiber optic cable, the multimode fiber optic cable is just 1/6 of the human hair, is so thin and so lightweight. If you compare the capacity, UTP cables are very good. The latest UTP cables are very good, 2000 MB capability, 2 GB capability. But even then, if you compare them, the weight difference is about 100 times more against UTP cable. UTP cable, if you compare the amount of data that they carry, a fiber optic cable is 100 times lighter. Okay. Volume occupied by UTP cable is also about 100 times more, and actually I am talking about a 100-meter case. I read a 100-meter case, I am describing the result of that case, but if the distance is longer, this difference is going to increase and not decrease. So, you can see how good fiber optic cable is compared to this. There are many applications of fiber optic cables. CT, when the people have built CTs and laid those telephone wires, those ducts were designed looking at the expected increase in the volume of communication, the amount of communication. It has increased many-fold. So, there is no space available. If you want to increase the space, you will have to remove those UTP cables by fiber optic cables, and that actually is being done. So, that is the first thing. High rise buildings, okay, you will have to lay the cable from the ground floor to the top floor. Now, that is the weight and the space that you need for UTP cable is too much. So, lightweight cables are preferred even high rise buildings. Aircraft and automobile industries, because their strength to weight ratio is very important for these cases, fiber optic cable wins hands on here. Okay. And one of the great things about fiber optic cable that can travel to 50 to 60 kilometers without any amplification. On seabed, this is the property that wins this thing in favor of fiber optic cable, wins on this thing. Okay. We have already seen that it transmits photons, then which is better immune to noise, and there is no external interference. And one more thing is that UTP cable you can cut, splice and knot very fast, but that is good. But if you want to do that same thing with fiber optic cable, it is not easy. But then there is, it is an advantage also, because if you want to wire tape a UTP cable, it is very easy. You do not need to even cut that. You can just place your cable near to next to it, you probably will be able to have some information about what is being transmitted. It is impossible with fiber optic cable. So, they provide better this thing. Now, we will look at the wireless physical layer, and especially two critical problems that we face in wireless physical layer. Here are some issues. Wireless network basically broadcast, you do not need addressing, easy to wiretap, easy to eavesdrop, actually not wiretap, you can easily eavesdrop in a wireless case. Okay. And best thing about it is that it is possible for a receiver to be mobile and still, or the sender to be mobile and still the communication is on. Okay. One great thing about wireless communication is that when the range is limited, A wants to send to B and E wants to send to F, it is possible because their transmission do not interfere in with each other. So, that is great thing. Sometimes that creates a problem. Problem is, in fact, B wants to send to A where the range is this, and E wants D at the same point of time. In fact, D is already sending to A, the range is, the E's range is this, E's range. Now, when B wants to send, this is already on, this is already sending. When it tries to hear, it will be able to hear D and conclude that there is somebody else transmitting. So, B will defer to transmit, in fact, it can, but it will defer to transmit. This is called an exposed station problem. D is exposed to it. Now, that is what we are interested in learning is whether the receiver has some issue. If receiver receives more than one signal, here E receives only signal from D and A receives signal from B. A will not receive signal from D. So, that is not the problem actually, but then both receivers are so well placed, they can continue, both of them can continue sending their data and they will receive, but how do they know? When B start listening to the channel, find D is transmitting, will not transmit. So, that is the problem, it is called exposed station problem. Similarly, E is sending to D, okay, this is happening, is on, and B wants to send to C and D. I will try to listen to the channel, find that no transmission. In fact, there is transmission going on, but the E's range is little further. So, B cannot, so this is E's range. So, E is not heard outside this range. So, B cannot listen. So, B will send and collide, and that is called hidden station problem. Okay. So, these two problems are there. To handle them, a very simple mechanism is used by Wi-Fi. It is called request to send and clear to send messages, and this method is technically known as CSMA-CA, collision avoidance, carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. How that happens? Again very simple. Okay. Suppose if B wants to send to C, B will send something called a request to send frame or RTS. When it sends, all of the neighbors of B learn that B is going to send something. Okay. And they know. Okay. Now, once RTS is sent, D will respond back with clear to send if it has nothing else to receive, and will say yes, you can send. Now, this CTS will be listened by everybody who is the member of or the neighbor of D. Now, suppose if you are able to hear RTS, but not CTS, you know that you are in the range of sender, but not the receiver. If you receive CTS, but not RTS, you know that you are in the range of receiver, but not the sender. Now, suppose if somebody else wants to send, suppose if I am here, I listen to B's request, but I do not receive D, and if I want to send to something called X, I can easily send, because I know that my transmission will not collide with the receiver, I can send. Okay. So, this solves the exposed station problem. Now, E will not send anything to D. Why? In earlier case, if B started sending to D, E might send, concluding that D is not receiving anything, because it tries to listen, will not be able to listen, because B's range is much smaller, will not go further than D. So, E may start sending, okay, and that is our hidden station problem. But when D is forced into CTS, all of its neighbor will learn about this, and then it makes sure that neighbors like this will remain quiet for the transmission period. Okay. So, that is called collision avoidance. Okay. There are three components majorly used at wireless physical layer that I just mentioned here. Obviously, you need a wireless card. A wireless card is something which can let you communicate with everybody else. Okay. Additionally, there is an access point. Okay. Usually, you will find that thing hanging at the ceiling or some corner of the wall. You will be able to your laptop or mobile phone will be able to communicate to that access point in a wireless fashion. And sometimes you even have antennas. Okay. So, antennas access points usually are very small area, covers a very small area, usually confined to a room or a hall, but when you use antenna it will cover a huge amount of space. Okay. So, antenna is also used, omnidirectional antennas are used, parabolic antennas used based on the frequencies that you use, access points use wireless radio links and communicate and coordinate with all of its members. With that note, we conclude this module. Let me recap what we have done so far. We have looked at two types of cables used in wired communication, UTP and fiber optic cable. We have seen UTP is prevalent right now, but are being replaced by fiber optic cable because of lot of good characteristics, better characteristics of fiber optic cable, and the cost of fiber optic cable is getting reduced every day. So, there are many advantages of using fiber optic cable like volume and the capacity and even the interference and all that. Everywhere fiber optic cable wins hands on, and that is the reason why world is driving towards using fiber optic cables. We have also seen the wireless physical layer do critical problems in wireless physical layer, hidden and exposed station problem, and a typical solution that wireless physical layer is using called this thing collision avoidance, which uses two types of frames, request to send and clear to send. These two frames help avoiding collision. With that note, we will conclude this module. Thank you all.